the other part of the same tank behind the divider. We have a Capapretum or false Paraiba, and we have two Dorada catfish. And also there are two giant Siamese barb or carp in the back. The bigger Dorado is the survivor of the two from Mark Chen. Or actually, I think I got 3 or 4. And this one I recently got from Snookin21. Something called White Dorada. I don't see much of a difference except it's a little darker. With any luck, which I will need, time will show. A bit of an update on Dorado catfish tank. As you know from the prior videos, I had to remove the purple labeo from this tank, which was harassing our Dorado. And even though he still looks all scratched up, he already got a better appetite and a better demeanor. So I think he's doing much better now that the harassment, which I had to take out of here because of the Dorado. Dorado is growing too big, even though it never tried to prey on them. I didn't want to take my chances and have Dorado wait until the typical night feeding for the tank with the Dorado catfish, Brachyplatystoma rousseauxii. There is an iridescent shark, Amur catfish female, and a starry night cichlid with a couple of plecos. They're getting a fortified thawed herring. Alternative nights, they get giant new light spectrum pellets. This is Heterotilapia paleni, starry night. Dorada is about 1.5 feet, maybe actually getting closer to 20 inches. So it will need a bigger home. An update on Dorado catfish, rousseauxii. We've had it about 5 years, I want to say. Got it very small, like 1.5 inches. We had a lot of problems with them. Probably tried 7 or 8 of them. This is the only one that survived to the larger size. The fish is about 20-22 inches right now. Only about a year ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, it started eating more, a lot more, and started growing. Until then I was afraid it wouldn't grow much. Striking fish that's with the appearance as if it's cast from a shiny metal. They're very, very hard to raise in captivity because they're very skittish, especially when young. Their mode of coping with any stress or any problem is bolting, fleeing full speed into a wall, hitting their head. This is why our specimen, as you can tell, has a snout that is pointing down. It shouldn't be like that. This is from hitting the wall too many times when it was little. They do best in a soft wall, say soft wall above ground pool, or non-transparent pond with non-transparent walls, because it is, I think it's the clear walls that deceive them into thinking that they can keep fleeing. And also it helps a lot not housing them with aggressive tank mates or tank mates that could chase them or bite them or attack them. That increases the chances of survival a lot. We had some problem with some infection that was taken out. Maybe 3 or 4 of ours died from infection, and a couple of them killed themselves eventually from running into a wall. You open the lid to feed them and they bolt. Loves herring. It takes about probably 1 8-inch or a couple of 6-inch herring every feeding. Every other day we give it 1 herring. It used to take a lot of pellets too. Recently it takes them and spits them out. Giant New Life Spectrum pellets. Doesn't really like them anymore, which is rather typical for many of the Brachyplatystoma. Tigs, jurors, Piraiba and Dorado, they seem to behave similarly in this regard. So they're very hard to raise to a large size in captivity, and you see very few of them in the hobbyist hands of larger sizes. And they're slow growing, even though they grow to 5-6 feet in the wild. As you can see in captivity, this guy is probably about 6 years old, and it's shy of 2 feet. As I was starting saying, that the skittishness diminishes with age and time, but never goes away. I mean, this fish is still very nervous, very skittish. Any kind of change in the tank, or a new tank mate, or you throw the food in not the usual way but some different way, and this fish spooks. But at least after it got some size, it doesn't run into a wall full speed or jump and hit the lid so much. In its tank we have this rescue iridescent shark, badly stunted. The shark is probably about 3 years old, 4 years old, and still about 1.5 feet. And we also have a starry night Paleni cichlid and a couple of smaller plecos. Dorado doesn't pay any attention to any of those. Never tried to attack or prey on any tank mate it had before. When we have a bigger tank, I will definitely give it a much bigger tank than this 240 gallon. Hopefully at least 600 gallon. I cannot put it in the 1800 gallon because it would kill itself from all the stress the tank mates will give it. I cannot put it in 4500 gallon either. Same thing will occur. I cannot put it in 25,000 gallons, and that's pretty much all my options. So it's got to stay in this 240 gallon until we glue together several bigger tanks. During certain seasons it starts sometimes swimming against the wall, because this is allegedly a very migratory fish. I assume ours reached sexual maturity because it started doing this maybe like 4 years into us having it. It holds currently the record for the longest freshwater migration, 1600 miles from the mouth of Amazon up to the foothills of Andes, where the Amazon begins, and then back another 1600 miles to the lower Amazon. And these are spawning migrations. That's a little story on the Dorado for now. Today we're going to do a significant reshuffle of the fish. Our So Piers gave me an idea on the YouTube that I probably should rehome Masir, the fenders, out of this tank, so that I could keep other fish in here and put them in 240 for now. And of course, some people were upset that we keep the Dorado catfish in this smallish tank. I have been afraid for many years to take it out of here, having lost 7 or 8 Dorado catfish, and this is our only survivor out of all of them. And being a very skittish fish and prone to suicide, very sensitive and very vulnerable to tank mate attacks, I've kept it in this 240 gallon for as long as I could. I think we're gonna try it in this 1800 gallon now as a centerpiece. If it takes to this tank, that probably will be its forever tank. But the Masir have to go. They're too aggressive to anything new I put in there. That wound on the sun catfish, they don't let it heal either, the one that synodontis rasped. Masir keep ripping it open. I've caught them a few times, the small ones coming up and sucking on the wound. These little guys, the Neolysicillus monsters, not the big ones. So they have to go. The Dorado has to go here. The biggest Masir is big enough. This one, the biggest sinensis, Chinese Masir, the tall-bodied one. It's ready to be tried in the 25,000 gallons. So this is the only one that's going to go into the 25,000 gallons. No others. I'm mulling over putting the other Chinese in there, the normal-bodied one, but it's a bit too skinny that I don't want to do that. It's coming through right here. There's a normal-bodied Chinese. I'd hate for it to be a snack for whales or for irwini. So I'm on the fence about that one going into the big tank or not. But all the smaller ones are going to go into the 240 gallon tank where I'm taking the Dorado out of. The iridescent is going to go in here as well. Otherwise, Masir will kill it. And probably will the Starry Night as well. I'm going to try it in here. That's the plan. It's going to be a hell of a work to try to get this fish out of this tank. I'm going to have to drop the water. And we will film the result as we go and the result as well. Took several hours, but we're done. We had to drain this tank almost completely. Here's Dorado catfish in its new digs 1800 gallon tank. After having spent, I don't know, 3, 4 years, maybe 5 years in that 240. Open prey, it will be better here, but it's not a given. Anytime you rehome the fish and there are new tank mates, new water system, new everything, you're taking a risk. It's not comfortable, although it was a very short rehome. It's very easily stressed fish, and it's not comfortable even from that 15-second transfer from 240. I plopped it right in here. Let's body iridescent shark went in here as well. I put here the tin foils, of course. I put them back here, and the bala sharks, 4 tin foils and 4 bala sharks, because we removed the masseer. So now the masseer live in here. We'll see how it takes. Chinese, red, Himalayan or golden, Alandi, and the rest are more or less Doronensis or the most common ones. The starry night went into here as well. So everybody from that 240-gallon tank that was here, everybody went in there except for the 2 plecos, of course. I don't put plecos on acrylic. I only keep plecos on glass. They scratch acrylic. And I also took out the amur catfish. Now that again the masseers, the offenders are gone. I hope amur will be fine back in here. Or it had lived for a long time. If only I could find it in here somewhere. Oh, right there. Sitting behind those rocks on the bottom. Alright, so these are our changes. Oh yeah, sorry. I took out the 3 synodontis decoris from here as well, because we never saw them, and they stuck by that back black wall. So for now I took them out and put them along in the safe tank, or at least I think it is safe. It is a safe tank. So they're right there for now. A little stressed from the rehome. So the tin foils and the bala sharks and the amur catfish that were in here, they went back into the 1800 gallon. Okay, so that's our update. And God help us.